sound first. Then I can transition over to this screen and wave at everyone. Hello, everyone. How are you doing, Mama?
All right, how are you doing?
Doing all right. Let's see, make sure I have the Sudoku puzzle pulled up. I don't have anything exciting to share between yesterday and today. So unless you do, I am ready to get started.
Okay.
So, why is my browser being weird? Alright, well, that should figure itself out. Transition over to the puzzle. Alright, puzzle 1. For today at least. Clueless Sudoku number 6. By Alf Smith. Normal Sudoku rules apply. A cell is gold if, and only if, it contains its position within its row, column, or box, reading left to right, top to bottom. Note that the rule set implies that a white cell does not contain the cell's position. Okay, well, these ones are row 1, row 2, row 3, row 4, row 5, row 6, row 7, row 8, and row 9, column 1, column 2, column 3, column 4, column 5, column 6, column 7, column 8, column 9, and then box 1, box 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9.
Well, box 9 has a 7, 8, 9 triple.
Yep.
And box 1 has a 1, 2, 3 triple.
Yeah. So we get 3 there and 8 here. I'm just going to take the 8 out from that one.
Box 2 has 1, 2, 4, 5 quad.
Mm-hmm. So 5 is there.
3 can be placed in box 2. The white square does not contain the cell's position. So 3 cannot be in... Oh, never mind. I was thinking 3 in the box.
Yeah. I just wanted to make sure that that wasn't part of the rules, but I think it's just corresponding to the row, column, or box number.
It is. It just... Oh, that's... Never mind. It can almost be placed.
4 has to be one of these two. So these two can't be a 4. That gives us a 5, 6 pair, a 4, 4 out of those two. 6, 7, 8, 9. There's also an extra 5 in there, so that's a bit annoying. But the 5, 6 pair takes the 6 out of those two. 1, 2, 4, 5, but there's a 3 in there. The 2 that's one of those two takes those 2's out. So 4, 5, 3, and 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6, 7 pair places 8, 9, 9, 7, and 8. And suddenly 6, 7, and I did something wrong. Because They are box 5, so they all have a 5 in it. Row 6, column 6, they all have a 6 in them. And then these two are column 4, row 4, but because the 4 has to be in one of those two, because it is a 1, 2, 4, 5 quad, that can't have a 4, because then those would be 1, 2, 5, and only 3, or 3 digits into 4 squares, which just doesn't work. I also have the 2 there, which takes those 2's out. 5, 6, which would take the 6's out. 4, 1, 5, and 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6, 7. 8, 9. But then I lose the 7. So did I mess something up with these? Box 1, row 2, column 2, row 3, column 2, box 2, row 1, row 2, columns 4 and 5. Nothing in here. So box 4, rows 5 and 6, columns 1, 2, and 3. But the 2 from up here removes the 2 from down there. Okay, box 5, column 4, row 4, and column 6, row 6. Now the 4 here takes the 4 out of that. 5, 6 pair places a 4. 4, 5, 1, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Box 6, row 4, row 5, columns 7, 8, and 9. So 6, 7 pair. It's going to give me 8 and 9. But then this one, it's box 9, row 7, column 7, so that would have to be 7 or 9. Row 8, column 7, and that's 8 and 8. So that would have to be a 9, but then that would have to be a 7, and that conflicts there. So what's... Box 1, box 2, box 4, box 5, box 6. It's not by box, it's position, says Joseph Pratt. But a cell is gold if and only if it contains its position
Then it's row, column, or box. Right.
So am I misunderstanding the rules then, Joseph? It's not by box, it's position. So are you saying that this is not box 6, but position 1, position 2, position 4, position 5 in the box? Okay. So, okay. So, this is position 1 in the box. Position 4 in the row, and position 1 in the column. And then position 2 in the box. Okay, Joseph Pratt is saying that's correct. So this is position 2 in the box, position 5 in the row, and position 1 in the column. Okay. So position 4, position 5, and then columns, these are both position 2, and then in the row, 4 and 5. Okay. So box would be 5, 8, 9. Column would be 2, 3. Row would be 2 and 3. Okay. So then box 5, 6, 7, 8. And then column, these two are going to be 6. These two are going to be 5. 1, 2, and 3. So in some cases, I was doing some of it correctly if they were in like the row and okay, so row and column number is still sort of correct in that wherever, so anything in this first column could be a 1. In this second column could be a 2, a 3, a 4, a 5, a 6, a 7, an 8, and a 9. And that's also true in the rows, that I could put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. But when it comes to the position in the box, that has to be 5, 8, 9, 1, 2, 4, 5. Column has to have 1 through 9 and row in gold boxes? Well, I mean, so like, if I look at this one that just has a 6 in it, it is the 6th position in row 6, and it's the 6th position in column 6. Okay, so you were just sort of reiterating what I was saying. Okay, cool. So then,
You're in box
okay.
5.
Say again.
You're in box 5 with positions in the box.
Yeah. So 5, 6, 7, 8, and then this would be 3, 7, 9, 1, 3, 4, 5, 4, 9, 7, 1, 4, and 5. Okay. I really appreciate you stopping by, Joseph, and helping with that one, because I was getting super confused on why that wasn't working.
Well, there have been so many that have had where it is the row, the column, or the box number.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
All right. Well, I see a 2-5 pair. That's going to take 2s out.
well, and
This
box
is
still has the 1, 2, 4, 5 quad and the 4.
Right. And the 5, not that that helps in the column. But that gives us a 2-5 pair. Now we get 4 and 1. One, 4, 5. If we could take this 8 out, that would be nice. These are really close, but not super helpful yet. Okay, well, where can I put a 1 in here? Might want to think about the single boxes in each row and column. The single boxes. What do you mean by the single boxes? Are you talking about the white squares? I was going to ask where 1 could go in here, because it couldn't go in any of these positions. And then since these don't contain a 1, that would force a 1 here. Single gold boxes in each row and column. Well, that would be this one. And maybe that one. Are you talking about row 4, column 9, and row 7, column 7? Because those are the only singles that I can see in that column 9 only has 1 and column 7 only has 1. Everything else has at least 2. Row 9, where would a 9 go? Well, 9's going to have to go in one of these two. And then row 7, right, it would have to be here, and then in column 9 the same thing would have to occur. Because I couldn't put a 7 in any of these, because they would have to be the 7th position in their column. And the same with this one, they're the 9th digit in that row. Is there anything exciting going on with these? 1, 2, 4, and 5. Because this would be position 3, position 6, position 7, 8, and 9. And then you can't put a 3 in these positions, because they would be the 3rd digit in their...
Right, and column 6 can't have 6s in it.
Right. That is going to place this 3, though, because it's now the only position a 3 can go.
I was right the first time when you said you could place a 3 in.
Yeah. And then... Well, did we get anything else in that box? Unless I'm missing something, which I definitely could be. What about 2s in box 1? It can't go here or here because of the 2-5 pair. Think about column 6 and how 6 would affect the 5th box. Well, 6s have to go in one of those two. So this has to be a 7. That's a 9 and a 3, a 9. place our 9 here. 6 and 4, 1, 1, 8, not a 1, 4, 8 pair places a 5 and an 8. That's a 3 apparently.
6, 7, 8 triple in box 2. 1, 2, 4, 5. Not really very helpful.
Yeah. Because I don't think anything overlaps.
Mm-mm.
And then as far as 2s in box 1 goes, it can't be the
4,
second position. Say again?
4 can be placed in box 4.
Can't be the top row, can't be the 4th item. None of those have a 4 in them. Two, 3, 4, 5, and 9. And none of those are 9, so that is. Well, 2, 3, 5 is going to force that to be a 4, an 8, and a 4. 2, 5 pair. 2, 5 pair going across. These
4 can be
are.
placed in box 1.
These are a 6, 7 pair, if I'm reading that correctly. Oh, and this can't be position 6, so that's 7 and 6. Puzzle has lots of 2, 5 pairs. Sure does. Well, that makes that one, excuse me, the blue 2, 5. You can place 5 in box 5. Well, can't go there. And it's not 7, 6, or 4. And it
Row
can't be
5
in
would
row
be
5. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I get an 8 still. 1, 2, 8, 2, 8, 8. 1, 2, 3, so that's an 8. I guess that 8 forced that one. If that's 1, 2, 3, then I still need a 9 in the row, and
2, 3, 7.
2, 7, 2, 3, 6, 8, and 7.
7.
6, 7, 8, and
2.
2. This is position 7.
Column 2 needs 1, 6, and 9.
I'll take 6 out of those. And then 6 ended up being forced up there, along with 7. Oh, I guess 2, 8 makes that a little clearer. 7
5.
and 2, 3, 6, 8. That's position 4, position 1.
Well, row
Okay.
1 needs 3, 5, 6, 7.
7, 5, 6, 7.
And row 2 is 6, 7, 8, 9.
6, 7, 8, 9. 7, 8. 6, 8, 7, 9. And Joseph Pratt says at this point you can place all the 9s. So they're missing a 9 in here, and a 9 in there, and I guess just simply that's a 9, so that's going to fix those. Well, apparently that's a 7 and a 3. 5, 6 pair makes that an 8. 2 out of 2. 6, 7.
Column 7, that's a 6.
This one's 1, 4. 6, 4, 1, 4. 6 is out.
1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3. Oh, and that's position 3. These two. 5, 7. 7, 5. 6, 8, 7, 3, 2, 1, 3, 6. I need a 1. I need a 2. A 4. And an 8. Here we go. Alright. Thank you, Joseph, for the help on that one. I meant to put the link to the puzzle in the chat. Copy. No one will notice if I slip it in here right at the end, will they? I don't think anyone will notice.
Apparently we were a little bit clueless about the rules there.
We sure were. This into my notes and see if it's on Logic Masters Germany. Doesn't look like it. Nope. Well, I tried. Alright. That was a pretty fun puzzle, though. The rules were tough to wrap my brain around. Fun. Anyway. Alright. Next puzzle is going to be Parody Snakes by Malrog. Normal Sudoku rules apply. Digits separated by a white dot must be consecutive. Not all dots are given. The digit in a gray square must be even. Each cell containing a circle is the head of a parody snake, whose length is the digit in the circle. A parody snake is a non-branching, one-cell wide path of orthogonally connected cells of the same parody, which may not orthogonally touch itself or other cells of matching parody. A cell may not have two heads and may be a single cell. What? Okay. Second time around. Normal Sudoku rules. Okay, I'm familiar with those. Digits separated by a white dot must be consecutive. Okay, get that. The digit in a gray square must be even. Okay. Each cell containing a circle is the head of a parody snake, whose length is the digit in the circle. A parody snake is a non-branching, one-cell-wide path of orthogonally connected cells of the same parody, which may not orthogonally touch itself or other cells of matching parody. Okay. So, the snake may not have two heads and may be a single cell. Okay, so basically, if I were to say, let's say the snake was this, then that would be a 4, and then I could go 2, 6, and 4. And then everything around it would have to be odd, if I'm understanding correctly. Parody snake is a non-branching, one-cell-wide path of orthogonally connected cells which may not orthogonally touch itself or other cells of matching parody. Okay. A parody is either odd or even digits. Cool. So I was on the right page on that one. And before I forget, here's a link to the puzzle. Okay, so I think we are good. I guess I'm just going to restart here just to have accurate time. So these are even.
That parody snake in box 1 is going to have to be odd. Because, well, no, I guess it could be 2.
Well, it can't be 2. Because whichever way
right,
it
because
goes...
then it would end up touching another one. So, yeah, it's going to have to be even. Or odd, rather. Brain.
It could be even if it, like, goes out this way. Or goes this way. Now, one thing we do know is that you can't have a snake cross any of these crocky dots. Because on either side of a crocky dot, it has to be an odd even pair. Actually, I'm just going to keep those walls in, just for funsies. Now, these two snakes, I think, have to be... Well, not necessarily. They could go in opposite directions.
Right, because there's nothing that says they can't touch diagonally.
Yeah. So... So, we know that any even snake has to be longer than 1. And if I were to make this an even snake, I could do 4 like that. I think it would have to not touch this one. And the rest would be odd. Which would force this one to be odd. Which means it would branch. And it's not allowed to branch. The snake head in box 1 can't be odd because it would have too many even digits.
Right, because no matter which way it goes, it can only go one direction, and it would have to be surrounded by even.
Yeah. Unless it was able to wrap. Well, it can't touch itself orthogonally, so it couldn't wrap all the way around, even if that was even possible. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It wasn't possible anyway. But okay.
So yeah, it has to.
So 4, 6, 8. And that forces the diagonals to be odd. And if we consider what that means for this snake, if it's even, it goes out like this. We know this one is connected there. So this would be forced to go down or terminate. But this could go like that and be just fine. And that could be length 2. So I don't know if we're forced there.
Well, and in box 1, those have to be... Okay. Go.
Yeah, because it has to connect to this one. Because if it connected to this one, we would run out of space. And if it went that way, it would branch, and if it went that way, it would branch. It's all sorts of discombobulated. If I went like this, then this one would have to be odd. But if I went like this, that one would have to be even. But then I could go like that and be length 4. Do I have enough odds to surround me? Well, this would be odd. And that even. What am I not seeing? So for this one, if it's odd, it clearly goes up. And it would have to be 3, because that would be the way it goes. So if it's odd, it's a 3. If it's even, it has to be at least 2. Now, it can't be longer than 2 if it goes in this direction. But it could be a 4. I mean, it could be a 4 like this, or like that. And I guess if it was a 6, it could enter this box.
The snakehead in box 3 can't be odd for the same reason the one in box 1 couldn't be odd.
Because if it was a 1...
Oh, right.
Well, if it's a 1, it could be like this.
I forgot about 1.
If it was a 3...
Oh, yeah, I guess it's...
Yeah, so...
I can't picture it, apparently.
The evenness just forces 3 of them.
Right.
Or if this is odd, then it forces 3 evens around it. And then it would have to take up at least 2 more in the box. Because it's going to extend 1 in some direction. And then that's going to have one side of it be even. These 2... Those 2... So... if I make this even... 4, 6, 8... it would go here, because it would have to extend. I couldn't go here, so it would have to go, if it was longer than 2, it would have to go down. And this one would be forced to go this way. It couldn't go down, it would be forced to exit left stage. I guess that may be right stage. And then that would force this to be odd. Wait a second. If this was odd, if it was an odd 3, because we know that these 2 connect, if this was 3, and therefore odd, and I would get evens like this, and now suddenly this branches. So this can't be an odd 3, it's even, and it extends this way. this can't connect to that, so it goes this way. And now since it has to go down, that's odd, that's odd. So if this extends, it goes down. We know that this is odd because of the crooked odd. And then since this must extend, there we go. And now since those don't match, that's odd. And now since this has to go this way, those two are even. And this one's odd. And this must be at least length 3, so that extends. 2, 4, 6, 8, 3, 5, 7, 8. I don't know what. 8's not odd. Unless we're just talking about, like, other ways of considering what the word odd means. Okay, so some progress has been made. Alright, what about this one? If it's odd, we could escape to the right and make both of those even. This would be forced to be even, and that's all the evens in the row, but then it couldn't go down. That could be a 2 just fine, and that a 4. And then you'd have the rest be odds, and those even. That should probably be fine. I think that is 7. If this was odd and it went down, then that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 odds. So this cannot be odd and go down. So if it's odd, it goes to the right. Because it can't go left, it would branch. So if this was even, if it was even, stuff would happen. What? We're missing. If this was 4, that would be fine. So if this was 4, then we reach there. Now if it was 6 or 8, I cannot continue downwards, and I cannot continue in the box. So I'm limited. So that has to be 6 or 8. Or excuse me, 2 or 4. It cannot be 6 or 8. So 1, 3, 5. Column 4 already has 3 out of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4 even digits. The last even digit is in the dot. So we've got our 2 even digits here, 2 more, so this one has to be odd. Row 4. So those are the 3, and the last one there, those 2 have to be odd. And that is very true. So now, this one cannot be odd, it would branch, so it must be even.
And it has to be at least 2.
So it has to extend to one of these two, and since this is another snake, that has to be odd.
And it cannot go left.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's got a wall that way.
Well, and since... Doesn't that mean it has to have even to its left?
Yeah. And so now this one can't go down, it would have 2 heads. So that is 4 for sure, that is 2 for sure. And we get odds there. And now we ran out of odds in that box.
And that odd is going to have to extend.
Right. So that's
which leaves
even.
the last 2 in row 1 is even.
Yeah. I don't know why I thought it was forced to extend more. Say again?
Yeah, I said that circle's now a 3.
Yeah.
And row 2 has 4 evens.
This is even, and those are odd. And it can't be 3, so this extends more. This one's even. And it can't be even, so it extends 1 more. So that's at least 5. Four evens in row 5. So that means only 1 more. If this was a 2, suddenly those would connect. And that would be length 5. But I need 1 more odd in this box, so it would have to continue 2 more steps. Oh, and this can't be 3, because if it was 3, those 2 would be even, and this would be an odd length even parity snake. So that's not 3, and it must continue. But this can still be 4, with odds in those positions. What am I missing? 2, 4, 6, 8. 4 is obviously out. That isn't a 2. If this was a 2, where do I put 4 in this box? It's not there. It's not odd. And clearly that wouldn't be... And we know that this would be odd if that was a 2. Because those would be even. I guess this one's even regardless. Because either this is a 4 or it's a 2, and then this comes across like that. And it's length 7 at minimum. If that's a 2, that's a 4. If that's a 4, those are 2, 6, 8. And that would make that odd. Because the whole thing would be odd and that would be broken. You can't have a snake that works this way. So this is a 2, that's a 4, those aren't, and we have odds going all the way around there. Let's wrap that up. This one's wrapped up. This one's wrapped up. This one. So let's see. What is the next thing I need to consider? I
Box
need 2
7.
evens. Was that what you were going to say?
That and the odd.
The odd,
Yeah, no. The
this snake?
yeah. No, it's I forgot what I was gonna say. Oh,
Um,
column columns 2 and 3 each need 1 even that
yeah.
go in box 7.
Mhm. This snake, if it is even, it would have to be length 4, but then it would touch itself orthogonally. So then this must be odd, and it can't reach up to this one. So this is a 7. And then since it's got walls up and to the left, now it reaches down that way, and we have it even there, a couple more odds, and that's at least 3.
And the column 2 green is 2, yeah.
I guess there's no real reason to do walls.
Doesn't really matter which.
I guess I was just trying to have like a way of marking that they were done.
Ah.
If this continues, that is odd, making that even, which it would have
It
to
would
be a
have
2.
to be 2.
But if this one is done, then this would be odd. And that would be interesting. Row 5, you put 5 odd colors. So I need to put 3 more even colors. And that's going to finish column 8 with its evens. Is that even over there? This can no longer be odd, because if it was, it would branch, so that's even. And since it goes down, it's a 2. So that makes that odd.
And
And
since
this
that
one
2,
even.
the circle, the head in box 7 or box 8 can no longer be even. Because if it was even, it had to be 2.
Right, so it must be odd now. So that's even. That makes that a 3. Now, this one also cannot be odd, so it's even. Now, it has to be 4, so it's going to
It
do some
cannot go
interesting
down
stuff.
because if it goes down, it can't go down more than 1 because that completes evens in the column. It can't turn because we've got the evens in the row, and it cannot be a 2.
Right, okay, so it has to go that way. odd, another even.
Across the crop key dot in box 8 there is. And so the
1,
last even goes in.
6, 7, 8. It could go up and be length 8.
Row 8 needs an even.
I guess that would be 4 going across that way. And we'd have our two odds, an even and an odd.
Can that be a 6 at all in box 9?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 would be impossible.
Too many
And
evens.
if it goes up,
Yeah.
that's 8.
Right.
But 6 has to go on the bottom there. One, 2, 3, 4. These two are both odd.
Column 5 has 4 even.
These are odd, so then it does go up, and it is an 8.
And box
column
8
5.
needs one more even.
Even and odd, and we're done with that.
And the snake in box 8 is a 1.
Six, 4, 8, 4, 6, 6 and 4. So that's 3 or 5. 3, 5 or 7, not a 7 because of that one. 5 or 7, not a 3. 5, 7, not a 5. 2, 8, 2, 8, 2. 4, 8, so 6, 4, 8. 6, 8, not a 4. 4, 6, 8. Apparently that's an 8, so 7 or 9. 4, 8, 9, 6, 2, 4, 6, 8, 4, and 6. 6, 8, and 2. It sort of seems like my even digits are done. 3, 5
Box
pair.
5 is 1 and 9.
Yeah. So 3, 5 going across. I'm gonna put all the digits there.
Yeah, can you get rid of those X's? They're bugging me. It just makes it hard to see, and they're all done.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No problem. Let's see, 1, 7, and 9, which apparently that one sees 1 and 7. So 1, 5, and 7. That's 1, since those two can't be. 5 and 7. 3 and 5. 3 pairs with 4, not 6. 7, 9. 3, 7, so 5 and 1. 7, 9 places 3 and 7. 1, 5. 7, 9. 1, 3, 7, not a 1 there. 1, 3, 5 and 7. 1, 3 and 5. This is 7. 1, 3, 5 and 9. 5 is in the box already. 1 is there. 5, 9. 5, 7, a 3. Oops. 1 from both of them, 3 only from that one. 5, regular 5, 7, 9. 1, 3 pair takes out 1 and 3. 7, 9 doesn't. Oh, 7, 9 here takes 9 out of that. One, 3, 5. The 1 has to be one of these two, so 7 takes that out. 1, 3, 9 pair places 5. These get fixed. 1, 5, 9, 3, 3, 1, 9, 5, 7, 9, 7, 5, 1, 9, 3, and 7, and we're done. Alright. And parity snakes. Oops. Alright, now wrong. And let's grab Masters Germany, and also bring back parity snakes just for the link. Well, I guess I could have pulled the link from chat. Wait. I just did parity snakes. So I want to pull this link, copy link address. That's what I want. And we paste that one here, because that was. Oh, hello. History. It is Clueless Sudoku 6 that I wanted to copy that link. Parity Snake Sudoku 3A and 3B. Which one's which? Oh, hello. First try. That one doesn't look right, and that one doesn't look right either. So that's a tad upsetting. But we can put the link in here. Alright. That was a fun puzzle. I'm trying to think of more things to say than just like, yeah, that was a fun puzzle. Like, definitely a little, it's definitely tough to figure out the, impacts of certain things. I feel like I was a little slow in figuring out this one, and this one over here as well, and then catching like the numbers of the evens and odds in the rows and columns was a couple of things that Joseph saw a little faster than I did, and then there were a few other things that you saw that was faster than me. I don't know. Do you have anything else to say on this one before we go to the next one? Did save the link in my notes. So, next puzzle is going to be 159 Miracle by James Sinclair. Normal Sudoku rules apply. Digits in columns 1, 5, and 9 indicate the column in which the digit 1, 5, or 9, respectively, appears in that row. Digits in cells with a shaded square must be even, and cells separated by a knight's move in chess cannot contain the same digit. Well, 2, 4, 6, and 8. Well, one of the things that I know about the 159s, which I guess if I place a 3 here, I would place a 1 here. If I move that 3 over to this column, that would place a 5. And if I move this 3 over here to column 9, it places it in the third position of the row. But what that means is I have a low digit, which would place the 9 here, a middle digit, which places the 9 here, and then a high digit, which places the 9 in here. And because of that, the 2 is the low digit, and the 8 is the high digit, and that's true in both of these groups. So 2 and 8 is removed from the outside one or square, if you will. And if I remember to paste the link to the puzzle in chat, that might help as well. Actually, I don't know if it'll help, but if anyone is interested in the puzzle, they can find it there. Now we also have anti-night.
Well, we know in row 7, one of the ones is one of those two.
I guess that gives us a 5 in this column.
And a 1 in box 2, top of the column.
Oh yeah. So that would give us a 5 there. Now, the 5 being here means this couldn't be 4 or 6. Because if it was 4 or 6, you'd have your 5 here. Now, let's say the 5 was this one. Because of Sudoku rules, that takes out those 5s, and anti-knight takes out this one. Because a knight in chess moves 1 square in one direction and 2 in the other, if we maintain the orthogonal directions. Or we go 2 in one direction and 1 in the other. It gets us to the same place, however we go about it. And then I wouldn't be able to place the 5. So, we keep our 5s here, we take out 4 and 6. Now, the same thing is true for the 4, 6 here, because the 1 would have to be placed here, and the same logic, if I place a 1 here, then those 2 are ruled out, and anti-knight rules that one out. So this cannot be 4 or 6.
Well, if you look at the 2, 8 and the 4, 6 in column 1, if it's a 2, then below it is below the 2 is a 6. Because
Right.
if it's 4, the anti-knight.
And the 5 is doing the same thing with here.
Right.
So if I do a 2, that's a 6. So if this is a
Might want
2,
to
that's a
superscript
6.
those just to keep those 2 straight. That way you can just look at it and say, okay, if this is a 2, this is a 6. If this is a 4, this is if this is the 8, this is the 4. Just
And
to
the
keep
same
those.
thing is true here.
Just to keep those more readily available in the head.
Yeah. So does that... I guess what does that tell me? I know 1 and 5 have to be here and here because of the 2, 8.
Right.
Okay. Could this be 4 or 6? Well, if it was, it would place a 5 here. Let's say it was a 4. Then the 5 would go here. Well, what does that do for the 5s over here? Well, that one's ruled out by Sudoku and anti-knight. And the same is true over here. So this isn't 4 or 6, and the same is true for the 1s. So that gives us our 2-8 pair and our 4-6. So 5s are here, 1s are there. And this one can no longer be a 1, so that's a 1, that's a 5. This is not a 5. Well, I know the 1 has to be one of these two, so 1 is out. And then...
And 5 has to be in box 5, and yeah.
So, if this is a 4...
And the 5 is up top. Or is
then
it...
that one's an 8. Okay. If this one is a 2, then this one's a 6. Well, then clearly this would be 8. And then this one would be 4. Now, does that work? Okay. 6, 2, 8, 4.
Yeah.
Yes. Now, we can continue that with how that impacts over this way. And I'm going to swap these, because this would be a 2, which would make that an 8. Superscript, take out the 2. Superscript 8, take out the 8. And now, if this is a 2, then that would end up being a 6. So if this is a 2, this is a 6. And then we get our 1s. Well, I guess I don't really do that. Okay. This has to be a high digit, 7, 8, 9. 1's rolled out. Although that's not the 1s, those are the 5s. And we already know 8's not in there, so that could have been rolled out. The 5 rolls that out. And so this is 2. 8, 4, 6, 5, 1, 8, 2, 1, 5. 6 places of 1, 4 places of 1. Still have 5 like that. Six places of 5. And I still have 5 like this. One, 2, 3, 7, 8, 9. 2 and 8 aren't allowed, and that can't be a 1. And now this also can't be a 3, because this one rules it out of all of those. So this is the high digit, and this is the low digit, where 1 is one of those two. This can't be a 1 because of that one, so that's 1. So then those two are ruled out. That's 1, that's 3, 7, and 9. And those are all fine. Um, 3, which isn't there. So apparently those are a 3, 5 pair. And we get 5. So
7 or
this,
9 for the high digit.
Yeah. Well, 2 has to be one of these two, because we've got 1 and 2 and 1 and 2. So, places 2's there. Although I don't know if that's useful. I can leave it marked, though. Probably should leave it marked. But I really want to know where 9's can go. That doesn't seem very useful, because well, no 5's exist. Oh. The 3, 5 here takes that 5 out, placing a 5, placing a 9.
Places the 5 in box 3.
Right. 1, 2, 3, 7, 8, 9. 1 is not allowed. Oh, I was missing this 5 because of the 4 here. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 9. These two can't be 6, and that can't be a 6 because of these two 6's. So that's 6. This isn't a 7. Okay, what's going on in here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's not an 8, that's not a 2, and that's not a 2. Do I have anything else exciting? I don't think so. This box, 3, 4, 7, and 9, where this isn't 3 and 4, and neither of those are 4, because this 4 rules all of those out. That's a 4, which takes 4 out of there. 3 has to be one of these two. I don't think that's super impactful, because it rules it out of those two. Although I do get a 3, 7, 9 triple going across, so
4,
that's
6.
what, 4 and 6? And since that can't be a 4, that's 6, 4 places a 9, 3, 7, 3, 7, 9. 3 and 9 is ruled out of all of those. 8 is out of there, 2 and 4. 3 and 9, which is going to give me a 6 as one of those two. Well, I can finish this column. 7 and 6, I hope. Seems right.
4 and 8.
Well, neither of those is 4. And that's 2, that's 2 and 8. First try. Okay, well, these are a, what, 2, 3 pair? Oh, well, that's a 3 and that's a 2, because the 9's placed in this box. And now we don't get 3s in either of those. That's a high digit, so 7, 8, 9 is ruled out, and we get 9 as one of those two. Low and middle means this is a high digit. In fact, I still need high digits in the box entirely.
Well, and since the 7, 8, 9 is in the 9 column, in box 9.
Well, apparently that can't be a 7. This is ruled out by that one there. Trying to think whether or not I fill in this box or not. I guess I might as well. I'm thinking about it already.
Where can you put a 2?
I believe it has to be one of those. 5 is one of those two. 6, I believe, is, well, it's anywhere but those two. And then 7 is ruled out of all of that. And then 8 is ruled out of there. This
right.
one, oh, right. And then 9 is just those two. So apparently this is a 2.
By
1,
itself?
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And then 7 there. 8 and 9. Yeah, that's just a 2. So, well, where's 4? Not this one, not there, not 5, and that one sees that one, so that's 4. So that's 6 or 7. These other ones are kind of complicated, but I think 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so that one sees 1, 2, 4, 6, 7, 3, 5, and 9. So apparently that's just an 8. That's a 9. So 9 is ruled out of there. I don't know how I got letters. Or even how I pressed a letter. That's a 6. Take 6 out of all those. 7, 6, 6 there. Alright. This one sees 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, and 8. And this one sees 2, 4, 5, and 6, 8 and 9, and 4, 6, 5, 8, 9, and the 1 above it. That's no longer a 9. Maybe this column. 5, 1, 7, 6, and 2. And 8 is ruled out of all of them because of this. So that's an 8. 3 and 4 is removed. So 9 has to be one of those. So that's a 7. Placing a 1. So we get 2 is one of those. Because that's a 9. Which makes that a 1. Not an 8. 3, 7 pair places 2.
Yeah.
3, 7, and 9. 7's ruled out, making a 3, 9 pair. 4 and 2, 9 and 3, 4, 9, 3, 9, 7, 3, 7, 8, 9. 5, 3, 5, and 7.
All of
That
9
2
is 2,
isn't
6,
there.
7.
7 there, 6 there, 2 there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, 4, 3.
2, 6, 8.
There we go. I think James Sinclair posts on Logic Masters Germany. He does. Column 7. Alright. That is very nice puzzle. Difficulty average-ish.
Yeah.
The 159 indexing is kind of tricky, but I don't know that it's necessarily it's not too difficult to wrap your head around. The stuff that's a bit more difficult to wrap your head around is the anti-knight, but that came into play occasionally, and there were like a couple of digits, I think this 2 and this 8, that were really heavily restricted.
Yeah.
I always find it really hard to spot a cell that's like really heavily restricted without just putting in all of the digits and then taking out the things that it can't be. But I don't know. I use the tools that are available to me. So I don't have much else to say to that one. I'm gonna go ahead and submit it as average and move on to what will probably be our last puzzle for today. And that is going to be Bene Divisa. Hopefully I said that somewhere close to correct. Bene Divisa by Alexandra Z. Normal Sudoku rules apply. Each digit is either a factor or multiple of at least one orthogonally adjacent digit, and 1 counts as a factor. Each digit is either a factor or a multiple of at least one orthogonally adjacent digit. Okay, so those are already taken care of. 1 is always taken care of. 5 is going to have to be next to a 1, and it can't be can't be horizontal because of the one over here. One is going to have to be next to this 5. One is going to have to be next to 7. Now, this 7, its 1 could be below it, so that doesn't rule this one out.
Well, 9's going to have to be next to either 3 or 1.
Mm-hmm.
And the 9 in box 1 can't have a 3 to the right of it, but it
Right.
could have one above it. Or it could have a 1 to the right of it.
Excuse me. Yeah. A 1 there or a 3 there. This 9 either has a 3 above it or a 1 above it if that 1 isn't the 1.
Right.
And this 8 would either have a 1 above it or a 2 or 4 below it. Starting to break convention a little. Well, because of the 5 and the 7 over here, I know the 1s have to be here. These two rule this one out. Could this be 1? If that was 1, that would have to be 1. And then the 9 could be next to a 3 or a 1. But those would be fine.
Well, look at where 3 can go in box 8.
Well, that's not box 8, but it is also heavily restricted. Boxes 4 and 8 have their
And 3
3s
has
like
to go
there.
next to a 1.
Not necessarily. It could go next to 9 or 6.
6 or 9. Right. I forgot about those. It's a factor.
Yeah, 5 and 7 are the most heavily restricted because they have to go next to a 1.
Right, yeah. Okay, well, 5 in box 8.
And it's got this whole square. Although 5 in box 9 is more heavily restricted. It can't go in the bottom. And obviously 5...
Oh. Because the 1 could be above it.
Yeah. It cannot be in row 8, column 8. Because if it was, it wouldn't be able to be next to a 1 at all. So we know 5 is in the top row, so that forces 5 to be one of these, and I get 1, 5 like that. Now, I could put the 5 right here, and that gives me this 1 right here. Or it could be 5 and 1 like that. Or 5 and 1. So I've got some flexibility in how that one's going to work. Now, how about 5 in box 1? It's not in the middle. But it doesn't necessarily mean that much. 5 there. Full box. Yeah, that's not getting me anywhere. Well, 2 has to be one of those two. Three in box 3.
What about 7 in box 6?
That at the bottom, not there.
Also considering where 1s can go.
Yeah. So 7s have to be in these 3 positions. If I placed the 7 here, it would have to have a 1 in one of those. Well, it couldn't be there. So that 7 would force that to be a 1. This 7 could have the 1 above it or below it, and this 7 could have it be in box 3.
Okay, but if that one is the 7
Yeah.
with the 1 above it, then what do you do in box 3? 7 would have to be in column 9. And it couldn't be at the top. Oh yeah, because the
Well,
one
the 1 would be
the
here,
one
so
isn't
the
there,
7
so
and
that
1
would
would be completely disconnected.
right. So that 7 with the 1 above it does not work.
Yeah. Okay, so that's ruled out. So, because of where the 7s go, my 1 is going to have to go like that. Now, again, not... actually, no. If I put the 7 here, then I still get 7s over here. 1s would be one of those two. 1s would be there. And I'd have 1s that just fill up that region. If I put the 7 here, and a 1 there, then I get 1s in that box, but it'd give me a 3-7 pair. I would like a 3-7 pair. 8 has to be one of those two. Okay, where does 7 in box 8 go? Not on the bottom and not in the middle. So if it's in those 4, if this was a 7, the 1 would be above it. But then I couldn't make this 5 work. So that's not a 7. If this was a 7, that would be 1 and 5. So I think that's fine. If this was a 7, I would need a 1 in one of those 4. But it's not allowed there, or there, or there, or there. So that's not a 7. So 7 has to be one of those two.
Okay, which place is the 7 in box 7 across the center, but it can't be in that center digit or that center cell.
Yeah. Fives in box 4. If this is a 5, that has to be a 1. which would make that a 7, and then force that to be a 1, which would force that to be a 7, and that to be a 1.
So then how does 5 and 7 work then in box 4? 1 can be next to the 1. I guess the 1 would go above it.
Yeah, I still have room to place 1s here. Now, 5 has to be one of those places.
The one in row 6, column 9. Where do you put a 1 beside it? You can't.
Right. It's ruled out of all of those positions. How is 1 ruled out of here? Is it because of the 7s? Yes, because of the 7s.
Okay, so box 6, cell 9. What about box 6, cell 7? Can it be a 5? It has to have a 1 beside it, but it can't.
Yeah, the 7s wouldn't work. We already know where the 1 is in box 5, and that can't be a 1 in box 9. So it's either here or there. Now, if that was a 5, you'd have to place a 1 here, and then 7 and 1 there. Okay, well, where do I put 5 and 7 in here? 7 can't be there. And I need to know about 1. Well, it's not that helpful. I was trying to figure out if 1s and 5s and 7s were restricted, because 8's heavily restricted in box 3. So it's a 3.
If the 8 in box 3 is the bottom one.
Yeah, it would have to be next to a 1. I'm not seeing any of the, like, long-term effects of placing anything anywhere.
Mm.
Like, I can see, like, a few steps ahead. Like, if this was 7, then that would be a 1, which would make that a 1. Excuse me. Placing a 7. That would have to be 5. Oh. And then that 5 wouldn't work. Because this 5 can't have a 1 below it or above it, so it has to be to the left or right. But this 7 takes the 1 away from the left or right. But then that would make that 1 or 5. So this can't be 7. Well,
With the one above it.
right. But I think this just simply can't be 1, because where does 1 and 5 go in this box?
Right, because if that's 1, then 1 goes in the first cell of the box.
But then so does 5, because the 5 doesn't work without the 1 next to it. Okay, that was a lot simpler. That gives us a 1, and it makes those good. It also makes those good, whatever they are. Now, this 7 can't have a 1 to its left, its right, or its top, so it must be the 1 below it. And now this 5 doesn't work, so that's a 5. Okay, this 3 must now be next to a 6.
Well, 2, 4, 6, and 8's what's left.
This isn't a 2, and it can't be a 6 because this 3 needs to be next. Well,
and in the center, 2, 4, and
6
8
could
don't
be
work.
there.
The center digit, 2, 4, and 8 don't work.
Okay, cool. That made things a lot simpler. So that makes the 3 and the 6 work.
Where does 8 go in row 5?
Has to be one of those two, and actually has to be there because of that 8 there. It's left over in the row. 1, 8, 5, 6, and 3. 2 and a 4, 7 removal. If this was a 7, which I believe we've already proven it can't be, it would have to have a 1 above it or below it. It doesn't work with 5 or 8, and there's already ways that the 1 doesn't work there.
That and 7 has to be across the top.
Yeah. I wonder if we could have just simply looked at this and known that that was a 6 from the very beginning.
Probably.
Because at the very beginning, 3, 5, 7, and 9 were ruled out. And then we knew it couldn't be a 1 because, well, the 1 in the row. And then
2, 4, and
Yeah.
8 don't work.
2, 4, and 8 are all multiples of 2. None of its neighbors have a multiple of 2. Yeah, that was just 6 from the very beginning.
Column 5 can place a 2.
Oh, right. Which gives us 3 as well.
So column 5 is 2, 4, and 8, or 3, 4, and 8.
3, and then a 4, 8 there. Now, those are good. Now this 2 has to be next to 1, 4, 8, or 6. Be 1, 2, 4, 6, 8. And obviously 1 and 2 aren't allowed, so that's 4, 6, or 8. And now whatever those are, they're good. And actually those are multiples of each other, so those are good to go. If I fill in the rest of this box, 2, 4, 8, and 3, 1 and 5 is out, and neither of these two are 9. This obviously isn't a 7. It doesn't have a neighbor that's a 1. Now those two are multiples of 3, so they're good to go. Two, 1, 5, 3. And this isn't an 8. Four, 6, 7, 8, 9. This one not an 8. And 7's had to be one of those two, because if this was a 7, it wouldn't have a 1 next to it, and if that was a 7, it wouldn't have a 1 next to it. If this was a 6, what were you going to look at?
Well, I was looking at that square, and it's like, how does 9 work in that square? It doesn't.
Yeah, because both 6 and 9 would have to be a multiple of 3. Now 6 could be a multiple of 2, but none of these can be 2 either, so 6 is out. 4 and 8 work together. 2, 8, 4. 8's ruled out. 6, 9, 6, 9, 6, 9, 7, 8. 4 and 8 are neighbors. 3 and 9 are neighbors. 8 has to be neighbors with stuff. 6 and 7's ruled out of all of those. 6 and 7 are placed. In order for this 8 to work, must be next to 1, 2, or 4. And apparently 2 and 4 is ruled out of that one, so that's just simply a 1. And now that can't be a 7, so that is. Now, if this was a 5, that couldn't be a 1, that couldn't be a 1, that's not a 1, that's not a 1, so that's not 5, so that has to be. And now, whatever is next to those, they're good to go.
Okay, box 5, the 2. Above it is odd. So it has to go to the right.
Well, this could be a 1, and then 1 and 2
Oh,
are
right,
good.
right. I forgot the... Never mind.
4, 5, 6,
Sometimes
and
I
7.
just forget what I'm doing.
5 and 7, 5 is out. Now, 4 and 6 work together with 2, so that's good to go now. Two, 4, 6, 9.
It can't be 4.
Now, if this was a 9, neither of these would be 3, so that's not a 9.
And
Now
actually,
those work together.
the last cell of the box 6, 9 has to be next to 1 or 3, and it can't be next to either.
Right.
So 9 is alone in the center of the box.
Sure is, and it works with 3. Luca Brasi says, "What's up?" That way is up.
Opposite of down.
Yeah, those together now. Let's fill in column 8. 4, 3, 9, 5, 7. 8's rolled out of there. 2 is rolled out of there. That is into 1. Eight. I was going to say 8 and 8, but we already have the 8 in box 1. About fill in row 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Not a 1. This isn't a 7 because it wouldn't be able to be next to 1.
Box 9, cell 3. How can that be a 5 now?
It can't be because none of these are 1. So that has to be a 5. That's 5 cells. Not quite ready to fill those in, but I can do these. 3, 4, 6, and 9. I believe 4 is out, 9 is out, 6 is out. Well, if this was a 9, it would need 1 or 3 next to it, none of which are those. 4 works with 8. 6, 3, 9. Those are good to go. 1, 5 pair makes it 9, which works with 3. That's 2, that's 4, those are fine. 2, not 2, it's 2. 3, 4,
6
5.
and 9. Might as well green out that 1, 5 in box 2.
That's true. They're good to go now. Whichever order they're in. Those two aren't 2.
From box 4 to box 7, the 3, the 6, or 9 goes together.
I guess you're saying
Goes
that
with
this
the
one
3
is fine
below
because
it.
of the 3.
Or I was saying the 3 below it.
Oh, right.
Or the 3 beside it, either way.
Yeah. If this was a 7, it would not have a 1 next to it, so it must be a 4. 4 and 2 work together.
Where 9 can go in box 7, and then relate that to box 4.
9 is ruled out of this one. None of those are 9, and none of those are 9. So it's just one of these two, which takes 9 out of there. 3, 6 pair makes that a 9. Now, if that's a 3 or a 6, it won't matter because 6 works with 2 and 3 works with 9. Now, this one... Oh, that one's no longer good. Oh, it's good because of the 1 next to it. Never mind.
Column 2 needs 1, 6, and 7.
And 1, 7, and
5.
5. 5, 7 pair. Take 7 out. believe that has to be 7 now, so 5, 7, 5. Well, the 1 has to be next to the 5, so it can't be this one.
But one of those two has to be 7.
Yeah. So
And
if
5
that was
has
a 7, you couldn't put 1 next to both, so that's 7, 1, and 6. Two, 6, and 9. Those are all good to go.
box 7's 4 and 8.
They're next to a 2, so they're squared away.
Yeah.
9 has to be next to 3 in order to be good. 1 fixes all of those. It doesn't matter, those are both
They're
next
both
to a 2.
next to
7 needs to be next to 1, which also needs to be next to 5.
6 next to 3. 8
Right,
next to 4.
because if that was an 8, it wouldn't be able to work. Yeah. Alright, and solved in 32:28. A couple minutes over time, but that's fine. Let us grab this, put it in my notes before we sign off. See if it's on Logic Masters Germany. And it is. It is. Row 6 is this row. And that was a very nice puzzle. It's definitely at least average, possibly hard. Because while this 6 was obvious from the beginning, even if we had placed that 6 at the very beginning, I'm not certain that. I mean, we eventually placed it, and it didn't really give us a whole lot. So it took quite a bit of fiddling to figure out all of the little bits and pieces of the puzzle. Maybe there was something we could have done to make things a little faster, but at least the way we did it was a lot of fiddling.
No,
At
part of
least
that
I
is
think.
tired.
Yeah, it is the last puzzle we did. So it is the time of now. But yeah. I think that is going to be that. I'm gonna go ahead and stay with, that was a hard puzzle. Yeah. Alright. Then, I don't have anything else to say about puzzles. Anything else that you want to say before signing off, Mama?
I thought that saying there's like 13 million Sudoku solutions, but only one solution which satisfies the divisibility rule.
Yeah, that is by bring this back up.
Something.
That is this right here. Just because of how open the grid is, there is a lot of different ways you could place the digits 1 through 9. So that is quite impressive that one rule brings it down from
13 million?
Yeah. But it just shows you how restrictive that rule is. That digits had to have at least one neighbor that is a factor or a multiple. But yeah. All right, then. Anyone who has watched this, thank you so much for watching. Anyone who watches this back later, I also appreciate you watching. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, all of that fancy YouTube engagement stuff. If you are interested in more content on this channel, that is Sudoku on Mondays and Tuesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. And if you're interested in gaming content, I do that on Saturday at 7 a.m. Eastern Time. We've been playing Monster Hunter World. I've also been playing Final Fantasy VI at sort of random times. I don't really schedule that one. I will try to get back into that. I've skipped a few weeks. I need to stop doing that. Because I want to finish Final Fantasy VI so I can play the Final Fantasy VII Remake Parts 1 and 2. And then I've had a friend request that I play The Last of Us, and another friend that requested I play a game called War Sim or something like that. War Sim: The Realm of Eslona. It's a text-based adventure, so I don't know how long I'll play that one, but I'll definitely play it for at least one stream. Aside from that, if you have any suggestions of games you want to see me play, put those in the comments down below. And aside from that, I hope you have a wonderful day. Again, thank you so much for watching, and goodbye for now.